Pharaoh also tells his assistant to give each of his company employees a $5,000 bonus since he saw the news that they almost defeated a man in court who sued them for some mysterious reason. He comes back to his bedroom where Mrs. Curtis was sitting. Suddenly, his drunk daughter arrives too, who tries to use him for her pleasures. Not only this, but Mr. Curtis arrives in his room and asks him to sit beside him. When Mr. Curtis tries to do something weird to him, he refuses him, saying he might have some disease. He tells the daughter to leave, then comes the wife with a smile on her face. The next morning, their dog also tries to do something incredible. Looks like the whole family is desperate. He arrives at his boss's office to help him out. Surprisingly, he finds the same woman from the apartment. Everyone looked impressed by his charm. Later on, we can see some flowers at the women's desk. Suddenly, she gets a call from the boss to meet him at his house. Pharaoh looked at Diane surprisingly, and the boss asked Pharaoh to drop her at the funeral after she was done with the meeting. Inside the car, Pharaoh was looking at Diane through the mirror and she scolds him for it. They finally reach the funeral of her relative. They both decide to drink some coffee together, where the conversation did not go well at first. But Pharaoh makes it right and suggests her to date someone because she revealed to him that her husband David died 9 years ago. Their conversation lasts for about 2 hours and they seem pretty interested into each other. She also reveals that she wanted to leave her workplace for a long time because the boss is too bad. She even offers to help Pharaoh out by lending him some money, but he is denied for obvious reasons. Before leaving her at her parents' house, both of them kiss each other while her parents watch her. They also decide to go on a date on the upcoming Tuesday. Her parents are not happy to know that the man she is dating is just an ordinary driver. Next day, she goes on with the date with Pharaoh while she also works on her project, since Mr. Curtis gave away some extra projects. Few days pass by. We can see Mr. Curtis' daughter coming at the office, which result in Mr. Curtis calling him into his office and fires him while abusing him for doing something to his daughter which he did not. Diane could not resist herself seeing Pharaoh getting insulted and says the inevitable F word, which shocks everyone. They leave from the hell office, where Diane asks him out to have dinner with her parents and he agrees. Upon hearing the truth from Pharaoh about today's incident, it makes them worry and they talk to her privately. They were concerned about Pharaoh not having a job and all, but little did they know he was a billionaire. At dinner, Pharaoh reveals he might leave for California soon, which indeed makes her parents feel a little relieved. Later we can see them both eating ice cream. She calls her friend and reveals about the relationship between her and Pharaoh, which surprises her friend. Pharaoh leaves Mr. Curtis' house and says goodbye to his wife. The following day, Diane asks him out about opening a new agency of their own with the money she saved in past years, but only if Pharaoh becomes her partner. They talk about the business and Curtis suggests her a great plan about the agency and they agree to it. It was evident that the love was in the air while they were celebrating it all together. It looked as if Pharaoh and Diane's fantasy was coming true as they were slowly falling deeply in love with each other. While they were going back, Pharaoh revealed to her that he never met anyone like her before. Finally, we can see them having romantic moments, but Diane was not feeling comfortable due to some reason. She tells him a story of the days when she was looking for the reason her husband went to eternal sleep and gets contacted by a person. There is something terrible happening with her. Soon the creepy guy achieved eternal sleep by overdosing on some substance. After Pharaoh comforts her, we are moved to the scene 2 weeks later where their agency started generating tons of revenue and profits. While sitting in a park, Pharaoh suggests that he might be leaving soon, to which she asked if they could open the agency in California instead. However, Pharaoh looked worried for her business here. He later gets a call from his assistant and gets to know that if he does not show up in the court this time, the company will lose control. While sitting and watching fighter planes, Diane expressed her love towards him. It was the court date and the judge gave them the deadline of Monday. So, if Pharaoh does not reach the court on Monday, he will lose control over the company. We are moved to the scene where Pharaoh's assistant was standing in front of the judge, but Pharaoh was nowhere to be seen. The opposite team was about to win the case. Suddenly, Pharaoh arrives and it takes about a second to confirm his identity and they win the case. He comes back and meets Diane, but upon asking her where he was, he did not answer and kept it a secret. This resulted in her running away from the office, followed by Pharaoh, but in the rush of emotions she could not be stopped. Pharaoh calls her parents' house back to back since she dropped her phone in the mud earlier, but her mother did not let her know about any of the calls. Finally, Diane comes into the office, but this time Pharaoh was not present and it seemed he went away for good. On the other hand, the guy who helped Pharaoh get a job reveals to Mr. Curtis that he gave him a check of $50,000 and he is a billionaire. Pharaoh tells his mother about Diane, to which she asks him to go meet her at least once. Soon after, Pharaoh explains the situation to her, but not about being a billionaire. They passionately kiss each other and have romantic moments for the whole night. Diane did not want him to leave and asked him to visit him in California, to which Pharaoh asked her to come with him, which makes her dream come true. Pharaoh also suggests her to give away their company shares to the agents. Finally, we can see them leaving for California. However, the truth about Pharaoh being a billionaire is still a secret for her. They finally reach California, where real Claude Pharaoh's driver comes to pick them up. Diane looked very confused, and soon he reveals the truth to Diane that he is the Pharaoh Olivetti. This was really shocking for her to hear. They reach the big mansion of Pharaoh's and he shows her around, which excites her a bit. Diane tells him that she will be looking for a job, but billionaire Pharaoh had different plans. He expresses his love towards her since she made him her half-business partner in everything she was left with. Now he will make her his partner in everything he has. We can see them both getting married in front of everyone. They lived a happy life with love and passion. Let us know if you think this can be a true scenario or not in the comments below. Like and subscribe to watch more videos like this.